happy gardeners. It is April. It is definitely spring all of a sudden. The sun is shining and it really feels like spring is really here, which is the most exciting time ever for anybody who loves to garden. I'm Fionuala. I'm in Zone 9B. I'm at Cottage Gardens today and I'm going to show you what there is to plant right now and give you a list of chores that you should be doing in April. But one of the best things about April is so many things available to plant. We're just about ready that all the tomatoes and peppers and summer veggies can go in safely and we don't have to worry about the frost. But my favorite thing of all is there are lilacs about to pop with blooms. The peonies are about to bud up and bloom. The roses are looking amazing. And there's so many other great things to plant too. So come on, come with me. Let me show you what to do in April. Okay, on the way to the peonies, I just have to point out this absolutely gorgeous little Spanish lavender. I love this plant. It seems to never stop blooming. That one is winter bee, and this one is princess. Beautiful and pink and so pretty. Then we have star magnolias that are just so elegant. This is a really small one. It's going to grow up to be a lot bigger, but you got to start somewhere, right? Ground cover phlox. Oh, amazingly tough, yet it looks kind of delicate, but it is tough as nails. Great ground cover. Anyway, I keep getting distracted. Let's go to the peonies. So, as you can see, the peonies are shooting up their beautiful foliage, the beautiful dark foliage on some of them, but you can see the buds already forming. And every one of the plants that I've got here has picture signs on them, so you don't have to wonder what you're going to get when the buds do unfurl and open up. I've got herbaceous peonies, and then I have these beautiful Ito peonies. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's either Ito or Ito. Whatever it is does not really matter because these guys are spectacular. They're an interspecific hybrid between regular herbaceous peonies and tree peonies. And they are tough and easy to grow, and they come back year after year. What I've found to be the key is they're pretty heavy feeders. I have them in my yard at home and they're popping up right now and they're just happy as can be, given regular fertilizer, regular water, and I make sure they're in a little bit of afternoon shade also. They come in such a range of luscious colors. I'm going to show you Julia Rose, and we will definitely come back and have a look at these guys when they're actually blooming. They're stunning. They are just so totally stunning. And then this one, Garden Candy Evie Jane. This is a new one for me. I definitely have to plant this one. I can't wait to see the color on it. So yeah, peonies, definitely the time to source them, get one, plant one. You are just going to be amazed at them. On the way up to the lilacs, I got all distracted because look, the hostas are emerging. This is another thing that happens in April. Hostas are stunning. They go completely dormant in the winter, and then come April, they start coming up again. They're going to leaf up, leaf out, and they are just going to be the most amazing things all summer long, sending up beautiful blooms also, but mostly they're grown for their foliage. Now around here they do want afternoon shade for sure, regular water, and protection from slugs and snails. Right here, you got hostas and they're popping up and you see little holes. That's a slug or a snail has been visiting overnight. So do your work, protect them from slugs and snails. And then before you know it, you're going to have amazing foliage brightening up your shade garden. Just had to stop and look at the wisteria. I have some lovely wisteria varieties. There's purples, there's whites, there's pinks. Just look at the buds on this. I'm going to show you our wisteria garden after we finally stop and look at the lilacs, but these are such quick growers. I'm going to show you what our wisterias are doing after just 2 years of growth. But first, we will stop at the lilacs. Here we are in the lilac garden here at Cottage Gardens, and there's so many beautiful, beautiful, fragrant varieties for you to choose from. I'm going to do a whole thing about lilacs in next week's video, I'm 99% sure, because I'm going to bring home a white one. I just haven't decided which one yet. But in the meantime, now is the time to get them. Lilacs do so well here in Northern California, and there's lots of different varieties to choose from. I love this Pocahontas. It's super early to bloom, really dark. I love those blooms. Look at the color on that. And they're so early. And then Angel White. This is what I have to bring home. I just have to bring these home. I have 6 or 7 lilacs already at home, but I don't have a white. Look at this. There is one. Where is it? There's also some dwarf varieties which are fantastic. Little darling. They work great in containers. And around here you can grow them in full sun if you give them really, really regular water. Or a little bit of afternoon shade seems to serve them well if you're really trying to go a little more drought tolerant. I'll cover lilacs more next week, but in the meantime, just look at these. I mean, look at the color on this. Look at this. That dusky lilac, pinky, it's just so luscious. And they are incredible cut flowers. This little beauty here is Lavender Lady, and it's such a, it is intoxicating, I swear. Beautiful. I love lilacs. I've always had lilacs in my garden anywhere I've lived. My grandmothers had them, my parents had them. I can't get enough of them, to be honest. April also brings the first of the rosebuds opening up into actual full-fledged roses, which is a great reminder that it is time to start feeding them bloom food rather than a straight, well-balanced triple 16. Look at this honey Dijon. It's about to open up any second now. The buds are huge. But yeah, it is time to feed your roses with a bloom food rather than a straight, well-balanced, higher in nitrogen. So you want higher in potassium and phosphorus right now when you're seeing all these buds. It's also a great time to double check for pests. Aphids are beginning to be a little bit of a nuisance right around now, so you want to really inspect every single bud on your rose bushes in case there's aphids. You can also check under the leaves, but right now where you're going to find aphids, if you have any, will be right on the rosebuds. If you live in deer country, right around now is when those deer are going to show up to nip off each and every rosebud in your rose garden, which is why we close the rose gate every evening at closing time. So we're almost at the time where you can plant sunflowers and marigolds and cosmos straight out into the ground. A lot of you gardeners may well be completely done with all frost, but here right now in Petaluma, I still don't 100% trust it. So in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I will trust it, and we'll be putting in sunflowers and zinnias and cosmos and all those other wonderful summer blooming annuals. But right now, you can still have so many different things that you can plant that it is safe to plant and that don't mind the cold at all. The place is full. You just will have so much fun wandering around. If you do come visit, but I would lay bets your local nursery is going to have stuff for you too. Just look at these adorable little daisies. For like the most cheerful little spot color, daisies, you can't beat them. Iceland poppies. Plant them once and you never have to plant them again because they do self-seed so nicely. Every single time one of these opens up, people buy them. But look at the buds. The buds are amazing. Dianthus, which are like little tiny mini carnations. And talk about fragrance. They smell like cloves, like sugar, like candy, like snickerdoodles. I don't even know. but they're the cutest thing, and they come in short little varieties like this to longer, stronger stems like these, and I have even more down the hill, long, beautiful stems that make absolutely the most perfect cut flowers. Every one of them is fragrant, and it is a really great time to plant dianthus because they bloom for like 6 to 8 weeks, and they're fragrant and they're beautiful and they're perennial, so they last forever basically. And they're a lovely reminder every spring of, hey, it's April, we're blooming. If you like to start your own seeds, it's a really great time to start marigolds, because you're going to be planting those out fairly soon. You can start them indoors or outdoors, but do protect them from birds. And sunflowers, so many great varieties of sunflowers you can start. And look at the zinnias. It is a great time to plant zinnias. We're going to plant up our area down below, that's the sunflower walk, next week. I feel like I can trust the weather. Next week we're going to be planting zinnias and cosmos and marigolds. Look at all the cosmos that you can plant. Oh my goodness. But the sunflowers are going to be the stars of the show. And don't forget the Mexican sunflowers. It's time to plant that too. Monarchs love this flower. Over to the kitchen garden or the edible garden, it's a fabulous time to plant a citrus tree in April. Our last average frost date around here is April 15th. And when it's an average date, that means maybe the last frost date was back in February. Maybe we'll get more frost way up in May. But I think we're pretty safe to say that we're done with the frost. So that makes it a really great time to plant a citrus tree. And I just have to point out this particular citrus tree. This is a New Zealand lemonade lemon, which is an intriguing little cross between a mandarin and a lemon. And it's super sweet, very productive. The flowers are totally intoxicating, like the lilac. I mean, maybe April is the month of fragrances in the garden, but it's a great time to plant a citrus. I'm 99% sure we're not going to get any more frost, but just in case, bring home some frost cloth or be ready to protect it just in case. What's so good about planting a citrus right now is that it has all these spring and summer and even early fall months to really put down roots, really get established, so that if we do get hit with a frost next winter, it's fairly well established already and can withstand some damage. You plant a citrus tree in October or November, those poor little things, first frost they get hit with, they're going to really struggle. Plant one now, it's going to be so much better able to withstand any kind of frosty weather that might hit it next winter. So there you go. This is an amazing tree, but we've so many more for you to choose from too. There's oranges and mandarins and other lemons and limes. Basically, what do you want to see in your garden? What do you like to eat? What do you enjoy picking? But even if you grow it for nothing but the blooms, just look at them. So yeah, citrus. Continuing with edibles, blueberries. You got to plant some blueberries this year. There's nothing like a homegrown blueberry. They're just, they seldom make it into the house at my house when I grow blueberries because you're out in the garden just like eating them. But you do have to defeat the birds with the blueberries. You really, really do. You keep an eye on your blueberry plants. You see when it's about to be ripe. That's when you net it. But I had one little trick work incredibly well for me one year. I planted delphiniums all around my blueberry patch, a really dark blue delphinium, and the birds literally flew over it. I think, and I have absolutely no evidence to prove this, but what I think is they just saw flowers and they just kept going. They didn't spot the blueberries. I like that story. Whether it's true or not, I'm not too sure, but it definitely worked. Right, I am here in the tomato triangle at Cottage Gardens because it's just because that last average frost date is around April 15th, It's pretty much safe to bring home a tomato. It may not be safe to plant it in the soil quite yet because they do like warm soil, but we are so close to having that warm soil. What I've been suggesting to customers who come in is get the tomato you want. When you see it, pot it up into a bigger pot, and when you know your soil is warm enough, that's when you can plant it. But so many great varieties. I know I've talked about the Snow White variety before. It is a heirloom white cherry. When they say white in the tomato world, they really mean pale yellow. But it is incredible. I was harvesting Snow White tomatoes all the way up to Christmas in my yard last year. It's really incredible. And it doesn't crack like some of the other ones too. So yeah, Snow White, get that one. That's a really fabulous cherry tomato. As far as regular slicers, there's a couple that I really, really love. This Orange You Glad, reliable, wonderful, very orange, very delicious. Not too tangy, just a very sweet, wonderful flavor, and really beautiful. And my favorite red is called Bloody Butcher, but I think we might be out of it right this second. I love the name. I love how round it is, how red it is. The other one I always have to plant is Paul Robeson. Fabulous tomato. April is a wonderful time to get any of your greens in, your Swiss chard, your collards, komatsuna. We still have some peas. If you have something for them to climb up, go for the super sugar snap. If you just have small space and you don't need them climbing anything and you need that space for your beans, go for feisty or the dwarf sugar snap. It's right around time that you can start planting your pole beans, which is really exciting. So that's really great. Save your trellises for your pole beans. Then I just wanted to tell you, it's such a good time to start an herb garden. You got cilantro and parsley and marjoram and all kinds of wonderful mints to choose from right now. Rosemary, thyme, really good time to start researching how to do your favorite herb. Again, ask us anytime. I've got so many great herbs. Dill, oh my goodness, dill and chives. I don't know what it is about April, but dill and April go really well together. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. We have some unusual ones too, like comfrey and lovage. And I've heard such good things about lovage that I will never not grow lovage in my own garden ever again. If you've got kids, you have to grow pumpkins. You do need quite a lot of space, but it's so worth it. It's so worth putting aside the space, and you can get pumpkins to grow huge. We got the Dill's Atlantic Giant and the Big Macs, but there's also these tiny little pumpkins, which are so cute and so enjoyable for kids to grow that highly recommend this one. But yeah, you can start those outside. Again, if you have kids, it's really fun to start them indoors and plant them outside. And other seeds you can plant directly outside right now are carrots and radishes and squash. Perfect time for squash outside in your garden once you know the soil is decently warm. Corn, oh my goodness, if you haven't grown corn, it is so much fun. Very impressive growth, very tall growth, very dramatic growth, and then at the end of it, you get corn. It is fabulous. It is time to plant your strawberries. This is the Albion variety. It is fragrant, sweet, juicy, delicious strawberry. We also grow the Eversweet here. And strawberries are really not that difficult to grow. We can definitely give you some advice when you come in, but starting, just say you go home with a 6-pack, you're going to want to plant each one of these about a foot apart. A lot of people believe in pinching off the blooms at the beginning. I really love looking at the blooms though, so I don't know. I have mixed feelings around that one. But one thing I really do know is that slugs and snails and birds love strawberries just as much as we do. So when you plant your strawberries, just like your blueberries, you've got to be ready to protect them. Obviously, it'll be a little while before we're going to get actual strawberries, though I can see a tiny one starting right there already. But when you got your strawberries coming on, it's time to get your slug and snail protection out. And if you need a little reminding about that, I did a video about slug and snails a while back. And then as soon as you start seeing them begin to take on a little bit of red, that's when the bird netting goes over. Because those birds are going to be right there. I almost forgot to mention rhododendrons. Look at this absolutely adorable little cutie. It's a great time to plant rhododendrons. Right now, a lot of them are blooming, and you get to see exactly what color you're going to be enjoying for years to come. Still in the vegetable garden, we've got potatoes. If you've got space, grow yourself some potatoes. It is totally amazing, the results. I planted potatoes in one particular part of my yard years back. And because I never managed to harvest every single potato out of that bed, I pretty much have a perpetual potato bed. And it is wonderful. I ate some the other day, and talk about the most delicious new potatoes ever. So if you haven't grown potatoes before, just trust me, it is a lot of fun. It is still a really great time to plant your dahlia tubers too. These little dark angel ones, they're a short variety. Super, super cute. So it's a really great variety to grow in a pot if you need to, confine yourself to a balcony or a deck, or you just want to grow a dahlia in a pot. And look how cheerful and happy they are. Here's more of those beautiful little lavenders, the princess, never out of bloom. And that's what makes Spanish lavender difficult for some people, because you're supposed to prune it back and tidy it up when it's done blooming. Some of the Spanish lavenders never seem to stop blooming, especially in April. They are full bloom, thrilled to bits with life. So this is the garden where we plant the sunflowers and the tithonia and the cosmos and the zinnias. We prep the soil. That's what you do in April. You prep the soil to get it ready for your sunflowers and zinnias and cosmos. And it's looking really good. And I have lots of space. So I just wanted to show you the before. And this is the before. Lots of Verbena binariensis for the pollinators. I've got some beautiful roses the pollinators also love. But the rest of it is a blank slate that I'm going to fill up with sunflowers and zinnias and cosmos, and these lovely little trellises are all going to have those purple hyacinth beans going over them. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. It's going to be so much fun planting this up next week. It's April, and the irrigation system here reminded me, you probably don't need your irrigation on yet, but it is a really good idea. If we get some warm weather for a couple of weeks, and you start noticing your plants looking a little thirsty, it's time to check your soil moisture levels and maybe consider putting your irrigation on. We don't need to do it yet here. It is definitely still pretty soggy. Another reason I'm waiting on those sunflowers and everything. But I think if we get a few more days like this, it's going to be time to plant and then start checking the irrigation and see if we need to turn it on. That's it for April. I hope this was helpful. I hope I covered everything. I would lay bets I forgot something important that I will think of in about 10 or 15 minutes. So if you have any comments whatsoever, make sure you let me know. I'd love to hear from you. What I'd love even more is if you drop by Cottage Gardens of Petaluma to come say hi. It's so beautiful right now that you're absolutely going to love it. You can also find me on Facebook or Instagram. You can email me anytime at all. But what I want you to do more than anything is get outside to your own gardens. Have a look around. It is magical right now. And happy gardening.